Hello, I'm Michael Novak, and welcome to Philharmonic First Fridays at 4, a series of musical videos featuring members of the Santa Maria Philharmonic in unique and intimate settings. Well, first of all, since today is January 1st, I want to wish you all a very, very happy New Year on behalf of the entire Santa Maria Philharmonic organization, the musicians, the board of directors, the staff, and the volunteers. We're very anxious to get together with you again live, in person, in a concert hall. But until then, we have these wonderful videos, and we're very happy to be able to produce those and get them to you, so you know that we are still practicing, and we're wanting to be in touch with you and keep close contact with you who love our music, and we love performing for you. We are here today at the family home of John Astaire, principal percussionist of the Santa Maria Philharmonic. If there ever was a local boy does good story, this is certainly the tale of John Astaire. He grew up here in San Luis Obispo. He went to San Luis Obispo High, to Cuesta College, and to Cal Poly, where he got his bachelor's degree in performance of percussion. From there, he went to Indiana University, a place that I'm very familiar with because that's where I went to school. And it's a wonderful place for education. John got his master's degree there. John got his doctorate degree there, which tells you he can play, because they make you have to play to be a master's student or a doctoral student at Indiana University, especially in performance. We are so happy that John has decided to come home and make his life here again. He's inspiring new generations of percussion players in the community. He's inspiring composers to write music for percussion, and he's an outstanding virtuoso performer. I'm so glad you're going to get to see what he does on percussion. And I say percussion because it's not just one instrument, like if we have a clarinet or a bassoon or violin or viola. When you're a percussionist, you have to play many, many, many instruments, and you have to be great at all of them. And just a moment from now, you're going to see something breathtaking. So I won't say anything more about that. And before we meet John Astaire, I want to thank the sponsors for today's program, Diane Borad Merkin and Philip Morris. Thank you both so very, very much. And now, John, to you.
Hi everyone, my name is John Astaire, percussionist with the Santa Maria Philharmonic. Welcome to my little rehearsal studio. Today I'm going to take you through, show you my instruments, and I have some pieces I'd like to play for you today too. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's start this new year off right and have a lot of fun. One of the questions I get after performances is about the different snare drums I use. I've got so many different snare drums. I've chosen 3 to bring today to show you. A little Piccolo, a medium size, and then a large tenor drum. So this first drum here is a 2.5-inch Piccolo snare drum with a brass shell, very thin, for very light, delicate passages. Also, when you want a real tight drum sound, we use this on the El Salon Mexico. This is a 6.5-inch shell birch drum. This is an inch-thick birch shell. It's a very dark, throaty, aggressive drum, but it also has articulation, and it's crisp. It's one of my favorite drums. I use it in a lot of things. And then this drum here is the tenor drum. It's got a calfskin head, and it's got a very deep shell, and so it's great for music like on Appalachian Spring, where you want that really deep kind of tom-tom sound, but you don't want to use a normal tom-tom. So we call that the tenor drum. questions I get asked all the time is, what's the difference between a xylophone and a vibraphone and a marimba? Well, I got all three of them today, and let's start with the xylophone. This is a little miniature xylophone, but it's still the authentic rosewood xylophone from the 1920s, I think. And it's got a great sharp attack, high-pitched wood sound, a real woodsy sound, like skeletons tap dancing on a roof. It's that kind of sound. So the vibraphone, in contrast to the xylophone, the keyboard's all made out of steel alloy bars, and it has a damper pedal on it, so it sustains. Unlike the short attack of the xylophone, we get a long sustained attack. It also has a fan built in, so if you turn on the fan, the fans will spin and change the phasing of the tone. Let's listen to this. And it's often used in blues. You know, Leonard Bernstein really used the vibraphone to great effect in West Side Story. And the marimba is the largest of the keyboard instruments. Like the xylophone, this one is made out of rosewood as well, but it's lower in pitch. This is a 4 1/3 octave instrument, and that's not even as large as they get. They make 5 octave instruments and even 5 1/3 octave instruments now. So it just keeps, one day they're going to be like the size of a grand piano. But they have a very nice, warm, rich tone, and composers have exploited this tone to great effect. The piece I'm going to play first on the marimba, though, goes the other way with it. Louis Andriessen was a Dutch composer, is a Dutch composer. And instead of extending the range of the marimba lengthwise, he decided to extend it out this way, like a harpsichord, adding different courses, so to speak, for the instruments. So this piece I'm going to play, called Woodpecker, and as the title suggests, it imitates the sound of birds, bird song and woodpeckers. We've got, besides the range of the marimba he chooses to use, which is only right here, he also adds some wood blocks here and some tempo blocks here. And these instruments are actually pitched. These wood blocks actually have a pitch to them, which imitate those tones. And the same thing with these 5 tempo blocks. So what he's doing is adding pitched wood to a very definitively pitched wood to create this sort of kaleidoscope of wood sounds. And once your ears adjust and understand this, it becomes a fascinating piece to listen to, and it's one of my favorite pieces to play. So let's see what it sounds like. I hope you like it. So in contrast to Woodpecker, this next piece uses this lower range of the 4.3 octave marimba, and it uses a little softer mallet, but still something with a little attack. This piece was written by a friend of mine who's a composer from Japan named Mutsuhito Ogino. And when he was visiting, we went to Montana de Oro, and he was really entranced with the waves and the way they flowed in and out of the rocky caves and the rocky shore there. So he wrote me a little suite of marimba music, and this is one of the pieces from that suite. It's called How the Waves Drift into the Cave. And also in contrast to Woodpecker, it's very rhythmic and sort of 16th note propelling 16th notes throughout. You know, there's not a lot of tricks here. It's straightforward, a very drumming style piece on a marimba, but it's really fun. So I hope we enjoy this one. This is going to be fun. So this instrument is called the Cimbalom. It's a Hungarian instrument. It's really the national instrument of Hungary. This is about 50 courses of strings. On the upper octaves, there's 4 miniature strings per course. Down here, there's 3. It has a damper pedal, so just like a piano does. And this was patented in 1874, this instrument. It's played with these funny little mallets, long little thin sticks with a cotton and silk wrapped in the end. And we also have these just plain steel instruments for a different sound. This instrument is really known as Hungary's national instrument, but it's actually a Romani gypsy instrument. The Romani gypsies were active in the 19th century in Hungary, and this was one of the instruments that they played. And people, including Franz Liszt himself, took that to be a native Hungarian instrument, wherein actually it's not. This instrument was adapted by the Romani gypsies from itinerant Jewish musicians that would tour in Bohemia in the previous century and play at coffee houses and stuff like that. And the Romani gypsies found this instrument and brought it into their sphere. And the Hungarian gypsy sound in the 19th century became almost synonymous with the Hungarians' national music, even though it's the Romani gypsy music. Liszt wrote for it, Stravinsky wrote for it, and in modern days they even throw it in movies. You see it in movies. Anytime they want to suggest something that sounds kind of exotic or foreign sounding, they'll throw this instrument in, and it just has this mysterious sound. I'm going to play a kind of little improvisation I like to do on this instrument called Alba Venid. It's a 15th century song, and it's a pretty little number, and I just take the chord progressions and sort of just improvise to show you guys what this instrument sounds like, and it's just a fascinating instrument. Let's enjoy this. So this last piece I'd like to play for you today is a piece by Poul, and this is a piece called Towards the Precipice, performing drums with an orchestra or as a solo. I'm doing it as a solo today, at least excerpting it. It's about 25 minutes long, so we don't have time to do the whole thing. But I'm going to play kind of the climax of this piece, and it's for a lot of drums. I just have 14 of them here, but that's not even all of them. The idea behind this piece, at least at this moment of the piece, is this gradual acceleration and buildup of intensity and rhythmic patterns that kind of shape and move through space. It's like this sound mass moving through space. And as the note values decrease, the tempo seems to increase. So I start out in groups of 7, then I move into groups of 8, groups of 9, 10, and 11, and then after that it's sort of just a free-for-all. And at that point I start improvising. Up until that point everything is completely written out. So let's take a listen to this.